Okay. There it goes. So like Will said, we're going to have this recording for you guys so you guys can always go back and watch this and have a little bit more time to kind of go through this training. Now, like I was saying before, we are going to go through a generic training website so you guys can kind of get used to it. We can kind of go through and play around with that site, but I am going to make some notes of what is going to be different about that training site versus your Arizona at Work training site. I know that Jillian has sent out an email to everybody kind of letting you know how to sign in to that website. So we're going to go ahead and start there for the training. This will be hands-on training. I am going to send you the link to both the regular training website and also the DES Arizona at Work training website. So you guys can log into that as well. But we will be kind of going along with the training website, and we'll kind of go over those differences. But if you guys have any questions that's specifically tailored to the Arizona at Work website, we can go ahead and go over that. But before we begin, just kind of want to let you know what we're going to be covering today. Now, this is a two-part training. Today, we're going to be going over the basics, kind of just showing you a little bit about the back end of what to expect when you log into a Drupal website, the admin bar, managing that content that you may have already assigned to you, or things that you want to create, and also creating new content, and also creating custom blocks, and kind of learning the differences between what is a content type versus what is a block type, things that you will be able to insert in there. So we'll be able to cover all of those as well. But we're going to go ahead and start off with the introductions. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Vincent Salgado. I am the team lead for the agency platform team that's over at the Department of Administration. So we are the ones who maintain the base distribution that the new website is built upon. So we're here to kind of answer any questions. If you guys have anything, you notice that it maybe should be working, but is not working on your website, we're going to go over how you're going to be able to kind of submit a ticket over to our maintenance team. We kind of handle those things for you guys. Mainly, you probably being in touch with either Delir, Maria, or Ben, but we are here as a resource in case when you guys do notice some things, you guys are able to kind of submit tickets through the website, and I'll show you guys how to do that as well. But before we begin and dive into this hands-on training, are there any questions that anybody has so far? All right, let's go ahead and get started. Now, again, this is a hands-on training, so we're going to go ahead and work with the website to kind of play around with as you guys kind of get used to how this platform and how Drupal itself works. Now, this here is the training website. I'm going to give you guys the link to this. So this is the ADOA training website that we provide of for all of our agencies to be able to kind of log in and play around with the site. This is our base distribution. So here's the link to that. I'm also going to provide to you guys the link to the training for the AZ at Work website as well. I want you guys to keep that handy and just go ahead and be sure to bookmark that. Something to be aware of that. Actually, hold on. Ignore that. Let me resend that link. We're going to go over the once you go to the homepage first, but we're going to go over that user password link here in a second. So those are the links. Make sure to bookmark it. Just take note that anything that you guys do in the training website can be overwritten at any time, just as we are making updates to the development site and getting ready for the launch here in a couple weeks. We just want you guys to be aware of. Go ahead, post things, create what you want. But just know that none of that is going to go live. So don't post up any real content. Just do it for training purposes. So, because at any time it can be overridden with what is currently in development. So I just want everybody to be aware of that. So let me just go and take a look. So this is what you guys should see for that training website, and you guys do click on that. But again, bookmark it, and we'll go over this in a second. Now, jumping back to that first link of the training ADOA website, I'm going to share this here instead. So when you guys go to a website, whether that is this website, Arizona at Work, or if you guys are working on any other things that are on our Drupal distribution, at the top where the address bar is, and you guys can't see it from the share screen, but when you're typing in the address like google.com into your web browser, at the very top, at the end of that home page, so usually it would say, in this case, right, we're talking about the pantheon.io, or if you were on the site, it would be .az.gov/ or whatever. You want, at the end of that, we just want to do /user. /user will take you to that sign-in page. So this is how you sign into your site. So again, if that is /user at the end of this training site, or /user at the end of the DES training website, that will take you to the login screen. Now, if you haven't created your profile in the DES Arizona at Work website, I recommend that you guys do that. Just go ahead and create your password. And in order to do that, if you go ahead, I'm going to switch over to the DES website here, or to the Arizona at Work website. And when I go to /user, but you'll want to go to this link. It's going to be /user/password. It was that first one that I had sent to you guys, and I'll copy and paste it. This is just for password recovery. So in case you guys do want to bookmark that as well, in case you do forget what your password was or you haven't set your password, you're going to go to /user/password. And again, this is going to be true for when we do eventually launch the Arizona at Work website. You need to set your account and your password with it. You're going to go to the same /user/password at the end of that as well. But just note that this is solely for the training website. And again, nothing that is in the training website is going to be delivered to what is live. So just be aware of that. So in this case, just so you guys understand what that process is, here I'm going to go ahead and enter in my email address. And I'm just going to click submit. So when I click on submit, I'll get this notification that lets me know that it's a valid email and the instructions are going to be sent to my email address. And I'm just pull up real quick what that looks like. Let's see here. So you should get an email that looks something like this here, where it shows you have a replacement login for your email address at Arizona at Work. And then you should have a link in here that takes you to the training website. So it's a one-time use link. So if I go ahead and click on it, it will take me to this page and allow me to click on this button to say login. And then once you do, you're already in the website. So now you're logged in as a user. Now I'll see a little bit extra menu bars here to the left, but that's just because I'm an admin. And then I can go ahead and just go to the home page. Don't worry about setting your password for the training website, because again, it could be overridden at any time. Just use that user/password in order to kind of log in, just start playing around with that training website for Arizona at Work. Any questions specifically about this? Kind of log it in. I think somebody has their hand up.
Oh, sorry, I was mute. So, Vincent, the process you showed is for the users that they are already on the system. So
yes.
if somebody there in the attendee, he doesn't have any account on the system, what is the process? Like, okay, just send an email maybe to Julian and Fabian. If they approve, it comes to us.
Yes.
Then we will create the user account for them.
Yeah. So just like Delara said, if you guys are not getting an email, we want to verify that you guys do have an account on that. In the case you don't, we can obviously add it, but be sure to send Julian and Fabian an email and just let them know, like, hey, I'm not getting in. We want to make sure you're using the right email address that we have you guys down as. And if not, we can always create you an account so you can be able to log in and make sure you're assigned to the right work here. Any questions so far? Anything else besides that? Okay. So what I am going to do here is I'm going to go back to the ADOA one, just in case you guys don't have that account. I want you guys to kind of be able to follow along. We're going to log into that. We're going to log into that ADOA training website. So here I am back here. Here we have a username. The username is going to be training user, and then the password is capital P, password 1234. And I'm going to show you guys, share a screen with you guys so you guys know that. So I'm just going to log in here. So training user, password 1234. And you can go ahead and log in. I'm going to jump back over to the presentation here. So here is the username and here is the password. So in that first ADOA link, make sure to enter this stuff to log in. I'm going to give everybody about 5 minutes just to make sure you guys are good and settled within there. Let me know if anybody has any questions or are stuck with this. And for those of you who will be joined after the fact, let me give you back that link in case you need it here. The link I just posted in chat, that's where you can go ahead and to be able to log into the ADOA website. All right, looks like Gabriella is in. Thanks, Gabriella. Okay, it's been about a couple minutes here, so we can go ahead and move on here. Any questions? Anybody having trouble logging in? So once you log in, I want you guys to kind of take note. You'll have the same experience when you log into your the Arizona at Work website. But when you log in, eventually you'll see the member for. It'll tell you the times, kind of let you know that you've logged in. And then you'll see the admin bar here to the left. So we're going to go over here this in a second, just so you're aware of. That's kind of an indication that you are logged in. And then the other thing I want you guys to take note of is that in the bottom right corner is this feedback button. So that's another indication that you are logged in here. Now, so this is known as, so on the left side, this little white bar, this is known as the admin menu. Now, from this site to the Arizona at Work website, you'll see probably less icons, probably just these first two, and then the top one here as well. So and we'll go over that in a second. But we're seeing a little bit more here on this training website just due to some permissions that we had checked here for this training website. But just so you guys to kind of get a hang of it, if you look at the bottom left of the admin bar, there is a little flyout button. It's a little arrow. When I click on it, it expands the admin menu a little bit more so you can kind of get used to what are those icons and what are they pertaining to. Now, the first one you'll take note as doesn't have one here, but it is the tools section. So this is more so to kind of, it's also a quick way to kind of go to the home page. So if I click on that teardrop icon at the very top, this will take me directly to the home page. Just kind of a quick way. It doesn't matter where you're at on the website. If you're in somewhere on an internal page or you're in the admin side of the website, you want to kind of get back to that home screen to kind of reset yourself, go ahead and just click on that teardrop icon. In this case, you guys will probably just see a few of these items, but the one here is also the area of where you're going to go to log out of your website once you're kind of done working on it. So that log out button is under the tools section there. So going down here on the next part, we have this little icon that looks like a piece of paper written on it. This is our content. Now, this is going to be our kind of a go-to place in order to kind of manage all of our content we have on our site, but we'll jump to that here in a second. Below that, we do have structure. You're going to see block layout and the overview of just the different blocks, and we're going to go over what is the differences between blocks and content, or the content types. So we'll go over that. This is also where you're going to go to kind of see any other taxonomy that you might have access to. Again, you guys might not see all of this. We just have a little bit of elevated privileges here. So you can go ahead and just ignore these other ones here as well. Below that, we do have just appearance. That's more for theme issues. We have this extend icon here. This is more so for the modularity of Drupal itself. Then we have our list of the users that are there, any reports that can be generated from the website, and then any configurations that need to get done. So just in case you guys are kind of take a look at that. But even on this one in particular, if I'm on and I go to system and say basic site setting, I'm not authorized to use this page. So on this training website, those things are there, but you're not able to actually access them in case you guys do click on it, just so know that you will get access denied. So any questions on at least the site admin bar that's there? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just minimize this, but you always leave that open. It just gives me a little bit more screen real estate to kind of work with here. But leave that open if you want to until you can kind of get used to what each of those icons are. Once you do, obviously, you can kind of just minimize it to kind of give you some more space to kind of work with here. But I want us to take note here at the bottom right is this feedback button. So if you guys are going ahead and you guys are working on your site, so whether it's this site, Arizona Work website, whatever site that you have access to that's on our distribution, we have a feedback button here that actually picks up data of where you're at on the website, and then be able to kind of submit a ticket from there in case you guys are having issues with something. So let's just say that I'm having issues with the slideshow that's here. Let's just say slideshow not working. You put a title in here, and then I'll put a description that says that talks about what the issue is. Of course, try to be as detailed as you can. So if our maintenance team gets this, they can kind of take a look at it to evaluate if this is an issue or not, and then be able to kind of fix it if it is, or kind of let you know it's like, oh, this is what's going on here, just so you guys are aware of it. Now, so we just want to be detailed here in the description, and then you can say what is the reason you're submitting this. Is it just a Drupal question, a new page request, user accounts? Really only, I would say, use this for general issues and problems. As far as like new pages, we do have that option in there for like a new page request. Those should be done through email in case you guys are having some issues and need to work with either Fabian, Delia, Maria, whoever is available. Make sure to post those type of things if you guys are having issues as far as content-wise. Our maintenance team is mainly here to fix issues. So we want to make sure that they're just going to be general issues or problems that you guys are having and then we can address that. Any new content needs to be developed by you guys. Any deletion of any content needs to be handled by DES and the Arizona at Work team. But so I will go ahead, you can submit that, and then you can also even take a screenshot. So when I say take a screenshot, it's going to take a screenshot of the entire page that's here, but you can highlight certain things to show maybe why it's not working. So I can highlight this area. You can black out other areas for if you want to do that. You can add in notes here as well, where it says, this is where I'm seeing the issue. And then you can finally, after you kind of make all of those highlights and blackouts and notes, you can go ahead and take a screenshot. So that will upload it as part of the ticket. And then you can go ahead and click send. Now, when I click send, what happens is that is being sent out to our service desk. So our service desk will get it, they'll filter it, and then send it over to our maintenance team. And it also creates one in our project management tool that we use for Jira. It will create a card in there as well. I just want you guys to kind of be aware of that. This will take some time, obviously, because it has to go through a few channels in order to kind of be assigned to the right person. But just so that you guys are aware of that. If we run into any issues or we say it's not something that either can be fixed or whatever it is, we'll let the people who are in charge of the website just let them know, and they can kind of communicate those things down to you. But because we want to have a direct communication through the ticketing system at least. And then if there is something we can email you guys, we'll email you because it's sending us all your information as well. Any questions on the admin buttons here that we're taking a look at? All right. So moving on here, the main thing we're going to do is that when you guys jump into the Arizona at Work website or any website, you're going to be wanting to manage content, either content that's already there or you're going to be creating new content. Now, one thing you'll notice is that now that I'm on the home page, you'll see some tabs here in order to kind of be able to edit content. Now, for the Arizona at Work website, you guys are all assigned to different divisions or sections of the website that only you have access to that content. So you will notice that on some pages, you probably will see this view, edit, layout, and on other pages, you won't. That's mainly due to the fact that you guys are not assigned to that page, but are assigned to a different page. So if I worked for the city of Phoenix, or I was in the city of Phoenix local area for the Arizona at Work website, I'm only going to see the content that is assigned to the city of Phoenix. So maybe I won't see the front page, but if I go to the city of Phoenix page, I'll be able to edit and do what I need to do on that page, where you will notice all these different things here as well. So the other way, in order to kind of jump into editing content, you can either go directly to that page on the website to go around to it, go to that interior page, the landing page 1 here as an example, and it will, I will be able to kind of edit it or do what I need to. But the other way to kind of see all content that is on the page itself or on the website is to go to that content icon. So for that content icon, you can go ahead and click on Overview. Overview is going to be kind of your go-to place to kind of see all of that content that is there. Now, in this case, sorry, what was that?
Hi, how are you?
Okay. Hey, Eric, how's it going? So for your go-to spot as far as the content, you want to go to this content overview page. Here you'll see all of the content that is there, whether that is news articles, they could be basic pages, they could be meetings, whatever it is. You can go ahead and just search for it through here. Now, you might see all of this content on the Arizona at Work website. So, but you won't, what you will notice is that the ones that you don't have access to, you're not going to see this edit button. But the ones that you do have access to, you can go ahead and select edit, and it will take you to the edit of that particular content. So just be aware of that. That's why you're seeing it in some places and not in others. It just means that you're not assigned to that particular content. So with the content, you're able to kind of search for it by title. So if you know the title of the page or you know what type of content you're looking for, you can filter out all this content to specifically search for certain things. So if I wanted to take a look at, let's just take a look at events here. I can go ahead and just filter that, and it shows me only the content type that are events. Same thing with news articles, same thing with meetings. You can filter it out as such. Then, or you can even search for it by just the title itself. So if I were to search up home and I wanted to go to the home page, I can filter that. And of course, it's going to show me the page that is titled as home. And so I can go ahead and start editing that if I want to. Or if I click on this link, it's going to take me to that actual page itself, so I can view it before maybe I want to change anything. And if I want to edit it, I can just jump up to this edit section and it will throw me into the editing section. Yes, Jelinski.
Hi there. So I was wondering, are we going to be given more options for the drop down on event category? And then also, once we're in edit, how do we go back to the list without it bringing us back to the home page?
Sorry, so let's break it down. So that first question you had, sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
Sorry if I'm breaking up. So in the drop down, let's just say we are looking at an event. Are we going to be given more options besides the conference, training, seminar, workshops in that drop down? If so, are we able to suggest maybe a few more common ones? And then once we are, and I'll just wait for you to answer that question until I get to my next one.
Yeah. So as far as that, so we're talking about the categorizations of events, correct? So let me just jump over to the Arizona Work, because we're not going to have those categories in this particular website. We have some, but obviously they're all customized depending on the website, right? So when we'll jump into this, I want people to get too confused. We'll get to this part here in a second. But here for events, if I click on that, you'll have the event type, and then you have these events for employers, hiring, events, and workshops. If there are different ones that you want to categorize them as, or the type of meeting that is down here, definitely make those suggestions over to Jillian and Fabian. And then if we decide, that is going to be something that's going to be useful for you guys, those can definitely be added on to, for sure.
Thank you. And
Okay.
when we're in this, my second part of the question is, when we're in this screen on the edit section, how do we go back to the overall list of events without it drawing me all the way back to the home screen?
If you want to go back to that list of events, in this case, you would just highlight, you're going to have these, you're still going to have the admin menu no matter where you go. You just go back to that overview. The overview usually defaults back to your last filtered stuff that you have there. So you can just go ahead and do that without having to go to the home page. But you are able to kind of do that. But once you do, just make sure and understand that. So on that previous page, if I'm creating a new event and I'm working on it and I don't save it, then when I go back to the content overview page, it's going to erase what I had, everything that I put in there. So make sure you can save it, but you can save it without being published. And we'll jump into that here in a second. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions as far as the content overview page, kind of how to search content throughout your site? So the next thing you'll take a notice here is that on this content overview page, you also will see files or media that is up here. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on media. Media is kind of your go-to place for certain things. So if you had uploaded a document, you uploaded an image, it will be created a part of the media library. So this is a place that you want to go to kind of search those things. So this, for example, just has a bunch of different images and documents. I can sort it out by which type that I might be looking for. So even if it was a leadership image under profiles, you can do that, and you can just take a look at the images that are associated with that. Or if I'm looking for just document, I can search document and find out here. So in case you do have something where you need to replace a document or an audio file or whatever that is, you can go ahead and do it through this media overview page. So again, that's going to be under content, and you'll see a media section, and you should be able to select that to kind of go to the overview page of that. Works very similarly to content. So I would do that. If you guys do see files are kind of redundant a little bit and more on the back end. Don't worry too much about files. More so search for your media through the media library that is here. Any questions on that? All right. So we are taking a look at kind of how to identify your content and how to identify how do I go ahead and edit that. Again, if I'm taking a look at these these content types here, they're called resources. If I go ahead and select it, I can go and jump right into the editing section to be able to edit that content. So if you're looking how do I change something, how do I change the title, maybe the type that it is or whatever, you can always go into that edit section and it will take you to that edit page of that content. Now, that's one way to edit content on another page. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways you might be aware of. So the other thing, I'm on the home page here. When you are assigned to that content, you will notice these tabs here at the top where you'll be able to kind of jump into the editing screen there as well. So if you're on that page, you're taking a look at it, you notice something, you want to change it, you can jump right into the editing section of that. The other way of doing that, so if I go, and then I'm showing you news here as another example. If I'm in a news article on this one called Announcement 2, again, I see the editing. I can just jump into the editing. It'll take me directly to that news content, and I can go ahead and edit there. So that's another way to kind of take a look at it. When you're on those pages, see if you see these tabs at the top, you can go ahead and jump there. The last thing to kind of take note of, I'm going to go to landing page 3 here. One thing you will notice is that when you hover over certain blocks, not all of them, because there's different ways, and we'll kind of cover what they mean. But you might notice that there's a little pencil icon here that pops up here when I hover over certain things. So for this one in particular, I think this is a text with image. If I go ahead and select that pencil icon, I can go ahead and edit this block directly. I want you guys to be aware of, though, if you ever do see quick edit, go ahead and ignore that. It doesn't really work the way that it should. It's an experiment. It's something that's new within Drupal itself, and they're still kind of figuring it out, but it does have some issues, and it can break the admin screen for you. And the only way to kind of get rid of it is to flush the cache on your browser itself. So that is a possibility of happening, and I want you guys to just kind of be aware of that. But go ahead and skip anything where it says quick edit and just go straightly either to edit, or it will say configure block. So one of the two. That's what you'll notice. So here I can go ahead and change the block description, or I could change the title here. For this one in particular, I'm just going to say this is a new title, and then go ahead, edit the content. I can swap out the images if I want to, but again, we're going to jump into that in a second and click save. But it just shows you how easy it is to kind of manage content that's already existing. And I definitely want to cover those 3 ways of getting into your content in order to edit it, because when you guys first get the Arizona at Work website, you guys are going to have content that's already there created for you. So I want you to be familiar of how to edit existing content. Any questions so far? Oh, if I scroll down here, you can see this is the new title. This is where I made that change. Any questions? All right. So now that we've kind of gotten used to this idea of editing content there, we want to be able to know how to create new content. Now, to create new content, when you highlight over that content section of the admin menu, you're going to be able to see add content. I'm going to go ahead and select that. So when I select on add content, this shows me all the different types of content that I have on my particular website. Now, you might see the majority of these, but you might see some additional ones that are on the Arizona at Work website. So I just want you to kind of be aware of what they are and what they do. But for the most part, I think you guys are mainly going to be working with basic pages. You're going to be working with news and meetings that you guys have. There are things you might see that you might never use for your particular section, for your local area. maybe something like leadership. That's more for profile pages of highlighting individuals on the Arizona at Work website. But just be aware that a lot of this content itself, once you kind of get the hang of one, the others will kind of fall in line. They all kind of run through the same type of setup that Drupal has for individual contents and also blocks as well, which we'll go over. Now, the ones that you will see here, we have basic pages. That's going to be the foundation, the majority of all of our content that we have on our websites, mainly because it's the foundation to create kind of those splash pages, those maybe even marketing pages where you can go ahead, start with the foundation, a blank page, and then use the different blocks in order to kind of create this this well, thought out, what's the word I'm looking for? Visual, page that are helping for your constituents. And we'll go over to that, what the layout builder is and how to create those type of things. But the basic page is going to be kind of just your foundation, create a page itself. Now that's if you're going to be creating a page with static information, or you're adding on there some blocks of some visual appeal. Now, it wouldn't be the foundation that we use in order to create an event. We have other content types that cover that. So right below basic page, we do see events. So it's just like how it sounds. You'll create something, you'll add all the details in there for your event, and then be able to post it and share it, and it'll go onto the website where it needs to go. Next, we have leadership. That's more of like an employee profile type of page where you can kind of create it for a staff member or for your executive leadership. That could be featured on the website. Next, we'll see things like meetings, just like as they sound. They're going to be meetings or meeting documents, I think, on the Arizona at Work website is what it's called. And there you'll kind of be able to kind of set those and fill out the information that's there. Same thing with news types, press releases. We have resources. So the resource is kind of like the library of documents that we may be sharing with the public. So if we have policies or if we have budget reports, things that we need to actually present to the public, that's for public knowledge, we want to create that resource to be able to drop in that document, and then it'll create this resource library for you guys. And then lastly, service and web form, you guys don't need to worry about that. That's more so for higher up, but that's just identifying the services that are on that Arizona at Work provides, but that's going to be handled more for the people who manage the site in general. So, and then web form, don't need to worry about web form. You guys probably don't even see it on your side of things, so we're not going to go ahead and get into that. But any questions on at least these different content types or anything that you guys might be confused about? Yes, Delir.
So yeah, as you mentioned, these are the general one with the default IDOA website, the training things. But with the Arizona at Work, there is a lot of these ones are changed, are customized specifically for Arizona at Work. Like, for example, leadership is used for the members, like Arizona workforce members or other members board meetings. There will be meeting documents. There are other stuff, but I'm sure, yeah, Vincent will go through that one with the Arizona at Work too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, here I just pulled up the Arizona at Work website. So here is those content types that you guys will see here. Some you'll see it again. I apologize. I'm logged in as a user with higher privileges here, so I'm probably seeing some stuff that you guys won't have to see. But as you can see, we have all of those ones that are part of the base distribution, but we've kind of modified some new ones that are here, like the meeting documents that's here. We have partners that are here. We have success stories. So just kind of be aware of that, and also office location. Those are things that you might be touching, but just know that there are some additional ones for the Arizona at Work website. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back to the ADOA. So I'm going to go ahead and go through an event, and I'm going to show you kind of how Drupal and its content types and how they work, just so you guys are familiar with it. Now I'm going to go ahead and select event here. So when I select to create a new event, what you're simply going to do is kind of just fill out the information that's here that it's asking for, and then you can go ahead and publish it. It's pretty straightforward. So that's going to be the same thing for any content type that you create, or even any block. You'll notice that it's just going to be filling out the information that it's asking for. You select save, and it will post it up where it needs to go. So for this one, for example, I'm just going to go ahead and create an event. So for each of these things that I do have to fill out, they're known as fields within Drupal. So these fields are different type of things, whether that's an event, a date, a category where I can just drop down and select that what kind of event this might be. They could be even images. They're all known as fields. So you just kind of just fill it out as you need and kind of put the information into those fields. So all content types, all blocks, they have a field. Now, one thing I do want you guys to take a note of, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the Arizona at Work website. Something that's going to be more important that you guys see on your side that you're not going to see on this on this training website that we're doing here. So if I go scroll down here, this is an important one to take a note of. You guys are going to have something that's called a field that's called local area. Now, when you are in there, you might only see one selection for it. It could be if you are assigned to Pima County, you might just see Pima County in here. But if you're assigned to multiple sections of the website or to multiple local areas here, you can see you'll see multiple ones in here, and you just select which one you want this to be a part of. So just note that it is required that you guys do select that local area, because that is the content assignment. You're going to see that through all the different content types that you create and also all of the blocks that you create. So just be aware of that is something that is necessary. So make sure you select which area of the website that it belongs to, or what section it belongs to. So if it's Pinal County, make sure you select that. Or if it's Pima, make sure it's selected, because that will make sure also anybody else who is a part of Pima County will be able to edit and see that content as well. So then they can go in there and make changes as necessary. So I do want you guys to kind of be aware of that. But I'm going to go ahead and jump back over to the ADOA training website. So again, we're just filling out fields. You're going to be doing the same for the Arizona at Work. So I'm just going to, for this one, it's asking for the title. So I'm going to call it event new. Call it event new. The category, I'll say it's a workshop event. The defaults to the hour of when I first created this. So I'm going to go ahead and just move it up one day to the 14th. And then we should be good. So it's an event I'm creating for tomorrow. And then event image. So there might be some default images that are in there. There might be no images for you guys. So just be aware of that. If there is an image in there, I just selected that X. It's going to remove the image and I can add in my own. I'm going to go ahead and select add media. So you'll see that for add media for any image that you're uploading or any documents that you're doing, you want to do it through the media library. So it'll bring you to this page. So in particular, so when I am adding in media, or if I'm creating this image for this particular event that I'm creating, I will have the option to either select something that may be already uploaded to the website. So for example, it already has one where there's a car here. And if I wanted to reuse that one, I can. Or you can choose to upload your own image. So I'm gonna go ahead and select an image. You guys can't see what I'm looking at right now, but right now I am on my desktop. Sorry, I'm just looking for a image. I don't have much to work with. I'm going to use this image that I have here. So I have this image that I'm selecting. When you are uploading a media or a document, there might be some other fields that you have to go ahead and fill out in order before you upload this to the media library itself. There's some requirements that need to be done. So for this one in particular, it fills out the name of whatever the name of the image or the file that you're uploading. It will default to that. You can keep that, but if you want to rename it, you can. But I recommend just kind of leaving it as the actual file name. And then you might see something like the alternative text. Just so everybody is aware of, whenever you're uploading any image or document and you have the ability to put in the alternative text, make sure to put it in there and put something relevant in there. So what the alternative text is that this is what screen readers use in order to read back the content that is on the website. So these are for people who are vision impaired. So they actually use their phones, and in their phones, they can kind of click around, they'll fill around, and the phone will read back to them what the alternative text will be for those images and for those documents. So if I were to put something in here as just image, then when it reads back to somebody on the iPhone or any smartphone that they have, it's just going to say image. That gives somebody who is visually impaired not enough context of what that image is. So we want to make sure that we are being descriptive so they can kind of know what's going on for that image or why you're sharing that image. So for this one in particular, it's a painting of a guy on a bridge. Good enough. You don't have to be too descriptive, but be descriptive enough. If somebody's describing something to you, you'll get the gist of it, right? So just put it that way. So, so as far as images go, especially within our platform, you'll fill out these first things. You might think you're done. You can go ahead and click save. But you will get this notification. We need to make sure that images are cropped before we put them onto the website. And it's cropped for multiple different use cases that you might use that image. So once we kind of set this to begin with, because we're uploading something that's new, we want to make sure we take the time and just use those different croppings just in case somebody else uses it for another reason. So in this case, I'm using it for an event. But if somebody uses it for a block later on, we want to make sure that it is cropped in a way that's going to make sense for anything. So make sure that these crops are solid first before we go ahead and save this. So when I tried to save it, though, it throws me this error. It just lets me know that those crops that are required are not on there. So if I go ahead and scroll down here, I can click and move the cropping around. So this will crop it. And once I do, you'll notice that it says cropping applied. That means that that particular crop has been applied and we're good to go. And then the same thing. But these other ones, they don't have that on there. So that means I haven't done it yet. So if I select that and that looks good, make sure you still click on it though, because it still doesn't say cropping applied. When I click on it, now it'll let me know that the cropping's applied. So that's good. And the last one is going to be a square. It's going to go ahead and put that there and click save. So now that all my cropping's applied, now I can just use this image wherever I need to. I can use it multiple times. So again, going back, we are uploading this for an event. I'm going to go ahead and select that image. So that's the image you're going to use. Then you have documents. Again, documents work the same way, where you'll have the ability to upload either audio files. So here to the left, it defaults alphabetically. So the audio file is the first one. If you want to upload a PDF, go to document. Then you have remote videos. If you're sharing something like a YouTube video, you can throw in the YouTube or the Vimeo videos in there. And then lastly, our video files if you're going to do an MP4. However, I do recommend that if you are doing any kind of video thing, I would try to do it through a service like YouTube first, only because of the fact that YouTube is very accessible. And again, it goes back to the accessibility, especially for our citizens. We want to make sure that those things are accessible. You can add captions, so on and so forth. The video file within Drupal is going to not be the best, and the player that's on there is not the best. So it's just something to kind of think about if you guys do handle that kind of stuff. But I do want you guys to be aware of it. But in this case, we are just going to upload a document. So again, when I upload a document, and let's just select one here, a PDF that I have, upload it. It shows me the PDF. Now, one thing that you guys will see when it goes launch is something that we're working on. You'll also have the ability to kind of add in a description in there for documents itself, just so it kind of gives a little bit more context to that document. But just be aware of that. So when I upload something, it's always going to appear first in this grid at the bottom, and then I can insert that selected. And there's that document that I uploaded. Any questions on media and uploading those things before I move on? Yes, Maria.
So it's not a question, but just a comment on that events are going to be done differently now since we're working on the website. We want it to be accessible via screen readers. So before, you guys used to upload the details of the event as an image. And now you're going to need to upload a PDF version of those flyers that we've been attaching as images. And in the body details, you will need to type in the details so that the screen readers can actually read the phone numbers and the rest of the details, because that cannot be done from an image.
So now that I have the event image and the document that's uploaded, again, in the description, this is the details that Maria was just talking about. So make sure you fill out all the information. I'm going to just put some lorem ipsum in there. I'm going to use my favorite lorem ipsum generator. If you guys haven't used this before and you guys need some lorem ipsum, Cupcake ipsum is a great ipsum generator. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. Go back to the site, put in the description, and then there's some tags here. So I'm just going to put cool things as a tag. More things. By comments here. All right. So now that I filled out all the information, I could be pretty. I could go ahead and just save this and post it onto the site. Now, for you guys, just to be aware of, there is going to be a little bit of a workflow. You guys have workflow set up, correct, Maria? Delia, I just want to make sure you guys.
No.
No, we don't.
Oh, you guys don't. Okay, sorry. I might be thinking of another project. So ignore that. So once you guys do select it, you guys have the ability to save it. And when you save it, it will automatically get published into where all the events are for your site. Or if you're not ready, but you kind of want to see it, you can go ahead and just select publish here. So uncheck that. When that is green, that means it's ready to go. When it's off, that means it is unpublished. So you can always save it, take a look at things. You can use a preview button, but it's always recommended that you just save it as unpublished, and that'll give you a better view of kind of what things are going to look like. So that is just an option. So just be aware of that publish button that's at the top of your page here. So, but when you click save and it's published, that means it's going out to the public. The public will be able to see it. So the other things you might notice off to the right side is that you will have the ability to kind of enter in some other additional information here. One could be the revision log message. If you're changing something on somebody else's content, I would recommend that you write in a little revision log message in case somebody does notice a change, and then they go and they can take a look at those log messages that are in different revisions of that particular content. So that way they know kind of what was changed. So you can fill that out if you want to, but if it's your own page and you feel like you don't need it, you can choose not to do it. It's not required, but it is something to kind of be aware of. And it is helpful for when you're working with a team with people working on the same content, just to make sure that they understand what's kind of going on there and why maybe a change was made. So you'll see that. You won't see menu settings. Anything that needs to be put into certain menu items, you will reach out to Delia, Maria, Fabian to kind of get those into the main menu or other menus around the site, just so you guys are aware of that. Next, you'll see meta tags. You can go ahead and just keep this as the default, but that's just more so for SEO purposes, what the search engines are going to kind of take a look at with some of these pages. Then we also have URL alias. Again, keep everything here the same. Don't worry too much about that. And then you have your authoring information and then promotions. Promotions, again, that's all handled on the back end. You guys don't need to be worried about that, but I did want you to be aware in case you are taking a look at that. Just keep all the defaults. You're really never going to really need to change those ones in particular. Any questions?
So Vincent, just a question with the media and the images. So when when any local area goes to that, they will see the images from all the local areas. So once you upload something, others can use it too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and click save here. Now that we have all the information entered, and now I've created my new event here. So here's my image that I uploaded. It's all formatted for me. And I didn't have to worry about that stuff. So when you are creating content from the content types, they're already pre-formatted. You don't have to worry about that. And they go to the places that it needs to go to on your website automatically. So all you have to do is just enter in the information, click save, and it goes to where it needs to go. So here's just my event page here as an example. It's showing the image, the time that it is. You can add it easily to different calendars. That allows the public to add it to different calendars as well. You'll see some tags on some content, not other content, just to be aware of. So that gives it the classification. For this one in particular, it is the workshop. So showing the workshop tag. Here are the detailed information and then event documents. I know your guys' stuff might be a little bit differently formatted, but just know that when I do save, it's going to take me to that page I've just created, and it's going to show me the format that it's looking like. So not only did this create this event page for me, if I go to the events list, it is added it onto the list or anywhere else that these lists take place for. So that's something just to kind of be aware of. That is doing all that for you, so you don't have to worry about it. And then if you ever see an event and you're like, oh, I want to take a look at this, I need to change something. Again, you can jump back into the edit section and it will take you to that page that we were just on. And then you can change stuff around. So if you want to swap out the image, you can do that. Or say you wanted to change the title, just simple as that, click save, and then it updates everywhere. So you don't have to worry about it. So I know I kind of threw a lot of information at you guys, and we could definitely go through each individual content type, but they all pretty much function the same way. You go in there, you add a new content, whether that's basic page or event or news. You just go ahead and just fill out the information that's there and then click save and it will take you there. Again, just to reiterate for you guys, for this particular event, again, you will notice that some things are going to be a little bit different, but it all functions the same. And then for event image, you can remove it, add an image in there, add documents. And then, but always remember, we have local area stuff that you need to assign it. For this is for a Pima County event. I'm selecting that and then just fill out the rest of the information that's here. And then you can go ahead and click save and it will create your event here on the Arizona at Work website. So jumping back over here, that will lead us to our first task. I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball. So an event content type that's going to be a little bit more complex. And I'm saying more complex. There's a little bit more fields to fill out. What we're going to take it here and be a little bit easier. What I would like you guys to do is to create a resource. So again, take these concepts that we learned with a different content type and apply it to a new content type, which is going to be resources. So I want you to go to add content, create a resource. The title can be whatever it is that you want. And then choose whatever document type you'd like. And then add in a PDF or even a URL to a website. Because you'll have on that one in particular, you will see the option to upload a PDF or have a URL to something else. Because a resource can also be a training material that is linked off to an exterior website. You can go ahead and do that. And then you can add a description and click save. So I'll give everybody about 10 minutes to do so. Let me know if you have any questions. If anyone has a question, just let me know. And we're about halfway through. Definitely just take your time, but if you guys have any questions, let me know.
Vincent, you probably went over this. Why do we have to put, mine's already uploaded, but why do we have to put a forward slash if we manually enter the information for a resource?
So that one in particular, so for resources, so there's two ways of going about doing your content or adding a link. So just so you guys are aware of this too. So there's internal links and then external links, right? There's relative links and some just kind of be aware of. So what Drupal does is that it specifically asks you to put in the full URL or something, right? So using the HTTPS, whatever that for external pages, you have to put in kind of like that full thing. So you can't just put google.com. It's kind of requiring you to put the HTTPS // google.com / whatever to kind of do it. So it kind of requires you to do it that way. So just copy whatever's in the address bar. Now, for other things such as if I go to if I'm doing an internal page, let's just say one of my resources itself was the about page. That forward slash that is telling you to do there, such as like /node or whatever, don't worry too much about that. That's for internal pages because it's trying to make a relative link, meaning that no matter where I take this on different environments, it will carry on and still work, function properly. What is, and this is a good question. I do want to cover this though, because so everybody kind of also understands why you guys are working on things. Let me switch here real quick.
And I do want to hear what you have to say and explain it to us, because I think it'll be important. However, the instruction said to add a URL or upload a PDF. So I went ahead and uploaded a PDF for my resource, and it wouldn't let me move forward. I didn't have a URL at all, just the PDF, and it wouldn't let me move forward until I put a / before the word industry.
Before industry. Okay, I would like to take a look at kind of what you're seeing there. Yeah, because I don't know why it would stop you. Take a look at that. But what I do want to cover here as far as resource links here. So again, when I was talking, and Zelensky, we'll kind of come back to that because I do want to see what you're seeing. But for links, it's important to note that we have internal pages, right, and external ones. External ones are easy. Things that are not on the website. It's going to be Google, New York Times, whatever, those external websites. So for this, for example, if I wanted to do Google, I need the entire Google URL here. So let me just copy this real quick. Copy, and then for this one in particular, right, I have to put this in here. So that's going to make an external link. What you don't want to do is to do the same thing with an internal page. So for the training website, if I was going to go to the about website, I wanted to go to the about page, you don't want to set it up to something like this, where it says you're putting in your link on your website and then putting it in, let's say about here. Now take me to the about page. This will still work, and it will work if I click save. But the problem with this, though, is that if stuff is moved around, it's not going to be updated on here. If I even were to move this link in from a dev website that I'm working on and I push it up to live, now everything, that particular link is pointing to the dev website. And we don't want that to be the case here. So if we're looking for internal pages, don't copy the link that is in your web bar. If we're talking about, again, this is for internal pages of the website you're working on, search for it. So this has the ability where I can search for the about. So when I type in about, it will show me different things that are here. Here's the about page, and here's a news article called News About Arizona. So that obviously is popping up when I search for about. But I want to select the about page, and so I select that. So now that is linking relatively to that about page. So no matter where this thing goes, or if the about page changes name to something else, the links and everything will update, and you don't have to worry about it. So when you're talking about internal pages, make sure to use that search functionality that is here to be able to do. Now, Zelensky, I'm pretty sure this is not touching upon that second part of it. I'm not sure if you can share your screen real quick. Maybe we can cover that just to kind of see, because I want to make sure that if in case that anybody else runs into this issue.
Okay, and I could have just easily clicked something incorrectly.
Yeah, so it depends. So you'll get notices, errors if certain things aren't met, right? So if I'm writing this one, new resource as an example, and then I don't select the policy type, or I don't upload one of these two. Now, these aren't required because you have the ability to do one or the other. So again, let's just put back in there the Google one. Let's just do a link into the Google Drive. That's a page that's there. So, or that part of the resource. So that's just the link that goes there. And then this is a test. And then I click save. If you don't fill out certain things, right, it's going to ask me document type is required, or it will say what the error is and kind of highlight it in red. So just be aware of that. So if I collect procedure, I can select that because it's requiring me to do it, document type, and then I select save. and then it will actually create that resource. So just be aware of that in case you do run into errors. But if there are something that's like that, you have questions on it, let me know if you are running into some certain error that you're not understanding.
Would you like me to share my screen?
Yes.
It's this portion right here where it says resource link, but I didn't
Mm-hmm.
key in a resource. I was just trying to add the PDF.
Let's go back to the edit. So scroll to the top and edit this one. Let's scroll down here. Yeah, let's just, in that resource link, remove that. Yeah. So it's kind of asking for one or the other, right? We kind of leave it open for if you put in a link or document. If you put in it both, it's going to default to the document. But in case you do have something in there like a link, yeah, you just have to make sure you just remove it because it should be either one or the other.
Perfect. Thank you.
So, okay. So now that we all have time to kind of upload some resources, I'm going to go ahead and go back to that content overview page. As you see here, I see you guys uploading in those different resources that are here. So for this one in particular, I'm going to just go ahead and select on enrollment guide here as an example. Again, this will take me to that particular resource. It kind of shows me the overview of kind of what it looks like. Now for resources, they don't really get to this page. It's more so a part of that library. So one, there's a few things that happened here. So for this one in particular, this is just a link, but if it was a document, the document has now been uploaded to the media library for people to take advantage of, to click on it, to link it in other pages. There's that. And you have this information in here. So when I go ahead and select on resources, this resources page, this is this one. And sorry, I forgot what the name of that one I was looking at. It was enrollment guide. So this throws it onto the resources library. So if I were to go ahead and look it up, enroll here as an example, I can type it in. Here's the enrollment guide that was just uploaded. It shows me the document type and then more info. So here, this more info will just kind of show me the extra content. It's in those details. So make sure you do write details, something in there. So if I put in, let's say search keyword, the keyword actually searches what is in the content of those, the details. So if I were to write in employee guide as an example, it's going to pull this up. But if I search those other ones, employee guide is probably, or employee guide, those are probably in there as well. See employee and then guide. So it searches everything that's relevant, so people can kind of search that way as well. Or you can obviously just do a drop down and select which type of document you maybe want to look at. You can't see what I'm looking at right now, but if I select one of the different document types, I can search everything that is just procedures and then kind of go on from there. One thing you will notice with those lists, whether that is resources, news, if you hover over something, you might see an edit icon if it's belonging to you guys. And so for this one, this active employee benefits enrollment guide, if I go ahead and do there, I have the ability to edit, go directly to that content type and edit it there. So if I said, oh, this is also a financial report as well, click save. It now adds that on there. So that employee benefits enrollment there's a financial report and is a standard. So kind of just a way to kind of show you how these things work. So any questions as far as creating new content on the page itself, on the website? Okay. So the next thing that I do want to go over is going to be a basic page. Like I said, basic pages, they're basically going to be the foundation of a lot of the content that you create. So I'm going to go ahead and go to content, go to add content, and it's just kind of a quick way to jump to where you want to go. I'm going to go ahead and select basic page. So a basic page does not have many fields. Right now it just has a title and a body. And but there's going to be a lot that we can do with it. It's going to be very modular and very customizable. So I'm going to create a page here called My Cool Page. I'm going to put it into the main menu. You guys won't see this on the Arizona at Work website. Again, the main menu is controlled by the admins. If you guys need to have a page that's put into those main menus or any menu that you see, just contact them, let them know, say, hey, here's the basic page I just created. Can you put it in there? And they'll go ahead and do it. For this one in particular, I am going to just show you how to add it to the main menu. It's going to be on the main navigation here. I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. I'm going to call this one My Cool Page. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave the body. Don't worry about that. Just leave it as blank, and I'll show you why here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and select Save. So now I create a basic page. Not much going on here. It just shows my title I created, has a breadcrumb, and nothing else. It's just a blank page. So, like I was saying, this is going to be the foundation because we're going to be doing some stuff in the part of the admin menu is called Layout Builder. It actually allows you to kind of build out and customize a page. Now, here's my start that I'm working with. As you can see here, I did put it into the main menu. My Cool Page is right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and select Layout here. You'll see a new option here for basic pages. You see Layout. I'm going to go ahead and select Layout. So Layout opens up what we call a layout builder. It allows me to build in different sections, different blocks, areas of information, or regions of information. So you can go ahead and put them however you'd like. This is kind of the default layout of what a basic page looks like. You have 3 sections or 3 regions of areas to put in information, whether that is some type of video, an image, just text content, and we'll go over that in a second. But you can do that in each one of these regions. Now, I'm going to start with it simple, which is doing a text block. So these are called blocks. So as you can see here, when I create and spin this up, I have the ability to add in a block. I'm going to go ahead and select that. So that block will bring up this side menu that's here to the right. So all this stuff below here, you guys can ignore now. We're going to go over that in the next training. But what I do want you to take note of is that create custom block here at the very top. So I'm going to go ahead and select that blue button to create a block. Now, again, a block is just a small region of content that you can put and apply it onto a basic page. So again, they're going to function the way that content types worked, where I'm just filling out information. You're going to do the same thing for these custom blocks. So these blocks are kind of just on a smaller scale of what those content types are, but they're just, think of them as like building blocks. It's just one piece that you're going to put into the basic page to kind of build out your website. So for this one in particular, I am going to select basic block. Basic block is just the ability to kind of add text in there. Other things to kind of take note of, we have things like accordion items. We have a banner in here that you can do. We have card sets, and we'll go over those things later and also in the more advanced training. You can add in an image. You have logo list, mission and vision. There's definitely different things that and look and feel for each of these blocks. Play around with them, create them, try them out, see if they could benefit you and your page that you're working on. But you do have those abilities to be able to do that. So easily I'm just going to create a basic block here. And a basic block is simply text. That's all it is. So for this one in particular, there's going to be a default title that comes along with the stuff. You guys can ignore this. Just keep whatever is here. This isn't going to display anywhere unless you literally select display title. Then you might want to give it something that will make sense because this is what's going to appear above this particular block. But for the most part, 80% of the time, you don't need that. Just put in whatever is detailed in there because the most important thing is going to be this body that I'm creating. Again, this is just a text block. It's just a block that I'm putting in with some information. So here I'm going to go ahead and grab some lorem ipsum. have here. So let's just make a medium, and let's just do that first one. Jump back over here in the body. Gonna throw in that lorem ipsum. You can change the text format. So just so you guys can be aware of this, when you are seeing the WYSIWYG in different areas, whether that's adding a new content type or adding a block, you have the ability to change what type of format it is. It defaults to basic. That's what you're going to need most of the time. But if you're looking for some more details of what you can do as far as tool-wise, if I select over to that, it has added more functionality for me to kind of do. It just gives you a little bit more options to work with. But basic page is kind of what I need. If I'm going down in text format, it's going to just warn me. So, hey, if you do this, there might be some things that you built out with that full HTML that might not work with basic, because it filters out depending on what you're choosing there. So just be aware of that's what that text format is. So in blocks as well, you are also going to see that local area assignment. It's going to be required. Just make sure you select that so it assigns to your group. So again, if it's City of Phoenix, it will assign to City of Phoenix. So you go ahead and select Add Block. So now that block of information in there. Again, it is just simply a text block. Don't you do anything there. I'm going to go ahead and save. So now that it's in there, don't navigate away from this page thinking it's there. You have unsaved changes. So in order for it to appear on that page, I have to save the layout. And when I do, that is now published to the public. So that's just simply a block of text that's here. I'm going to jump back in. If I want to go and edit that, I'm going to jump back into the layout builder. When I'm in the layout builder, I will see it. Here it is. That's that. I can go in and edit this. Again, avoid the quick edit. I'm just going to go to configure. So again, it's either going to be configure or edit is what you want to select on. They just use different terminology when you're in the layout builder versus when you're outside of it. So just kind of be aware of that. So I'm going to go ahead and select configure. Brings me back to this block. I can add in another paragraph and then update it. And it updates that. And again, it won't do anything unless I save it. So, but in the event, just so you guys are aware, that you do navigate away from this. So let's say I go to the news page. I go to the news page, and then I was like, oh, wait, I was working on that page. Let me go back to it. My cool page. You might notice like, hey, where's that paragraph that I just put in there? If you go back to the layout, it's going to save what you had just done. However, I would not rely on this as being like, oh, I'll come back to it in a day or two, and then it's just still be there, because this might not be there in a day or two. It might just, when something happens with the website, it might just override anything that's sitting in there. So just be aware of that. But if you do navigate it, you can easily kind of get back to it within a reasonable amount of time. So I'm going to go ahead and just go save layout, and that saves that block with that updated information. Now it's available to the public. One last thing I do want to show. So when you do create these blocks, you are able to kind of move them around to different regions that are set up on your particular page. So if I wanted this to be below into this this other region or this other section, I could do that. I can even move it into smaller columns, because this is a 2-column one versus this being a full 1-column one-column section. So just be aware of that. So when I do that and save layout, it has now moved that text over here to the right. So you kind of get the gist of how those things are able to kind of move around. They're modular. Again, they're the building blocks. So we have to think of them that way. Any questions on this? Yes, Delir.
So not a question, but a comment, since the majority of the attendees are the Arizona at Work content editors. So the basic page that Vincent explained, it's a very powerful, it has this layout. For the Arizona at Work website, when we switch to the new website, these basic pages were already created for you guys. So you don't need to create a new basic page. Basic page are used when there is a new local area or there is a specific need to create something with the layout. Otherwise, the most common contents that in Arizona at work that content editors use are the adding events, adding meeting documents, adding news, and these are ready and you can add new ones. With the basic pages, the one that already in there, if you are from one local area, you will see the main page of your local area. It is created as basic page. And if you want to edit any blocks on that one, you have access. You can go to the layout. You can click, as Vincent mentioned, on the pencil and configure and change the content. So my recommendation would be if there is a need for a new basic page, let's coordinate, communicate with us, see what is the need and why you need it, then create it. Otherwise, for now, as I see, you have the basic pages already set up on your local area. Thank you.
So I know we're ending up on time here. We're gonna go a little bit over, but if anyone needs to jump off, we understand. It is 1:30 at the moment, but I do want to cover kind of just this last part in here, and we do have kind of one more exercise for you guys to go through. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back to layout. One thing just to kind of be aware of, there's going to be certain blocks of information that work better in certain regions versus others, depending on how they are. So for an example, I'm going to go ahead and select add block here. I'm going to create custom block, just like we did for the last one, but this time I'm going to select banner. Now, when we were going through this, I did notice, I think somebody may have deleted something on this test site, and this is a training website, so these things happen. So I'm going to go ahead and probably have to fix this later, but I'm going to add in a banner, and this is something you guys will have on your site as an example, right? I'm going to add in a title, just say my cool page, and then I'm going to write in description in here. Let's just make it a couple sentences, nothing crazy. And then I have the ability to do a link, and again, this link works the same as those other ones. You either put it in the full linked in order to do something like Google, an exterior page, or I could search for something. So for this one, I'm just gonna put landing page 3 here as an example. But what's different about this one in particular, I'm actually creating a button. And then this button, this is where that link text is. I'm gonna say, learn more for this one. And then I have my media image that is in here. So you guys already have probably a lot of the stuff set up. You guys are gonna have some banners set up on your pages in particular, in case you guys do need to swap out images. It's simple enough where you have to remove what is in the media and either add something new or select something from the media library. For this one in particular, I'm just gonna select one that's already here from the movie Palm Springs, and then select, okay. So it shows me the preview of the image. And then you'll have other things in here as well. I'm going to add in an image overlay. So I'm just going to make the banner a little bit darker so text can stand out. And then you can change the text color in here, but I'm going to keep it white. So I'm going to go ahead and add the block. Now, I created this banner, but as you can kind of see here, it doesn't maybe not necessarily match up to this one in particular. It doesn't fit in here. It could. I mean, this could be a little cool graphic thing that you guys could do. There's definitely some creative ways to play around with the layout builder to create some interesting looking content. But in certain areas, it probably won't look great. Like if I put it here in this small section, it's way too small. It's not going to work there. So that's why when I talk about, certain blocks are going to work better in different regions, this is what I'm talking about. So for this one, it could work out in this one. And there's one column one, but we have by default this top section that's in your page. This one goes from one end of the page to the other. So it's kind of more built for those slideshows, those banner images. So it looks better across the top of the page. That's kind of where I want it. Now I'm going to go ahead and save the layout. So when I do that, here's my banner at the top of my cool page that I created here. I'm going to get rid of these notifications. You guys don't have to worry about that. And yeah, so it kind of just shows you how to create you can see how simple it can be to kind of create very dynamic, very visually engaging pages for your particular section of the website. So what I would like you guys to do now would be just our next and final exercise. If you can create a basic page, so you're going to go to content, you're going to create a basic page, add a title, put lorem ipsum in the body, or you can leave the body as is. That's not what's, you don't need to worry about that. And then under the menu settings, so see if you can select the parent item to be my cool page. It's this cool page here, but it should be my cool page, which you're looking for, and then click save. Once you do that, go into that layout builder, go to that the layout, and then add in a banner to the top region. So I'll give everybody about 10 minutes to do so. If you guys have any questions on this, let me know. And again, I know some people have to run right now. For those of you who are heading out, we do have a training in a couple of weeks where we'll be going into a deeper dive of that layout builder specifically to talk about more about those blocks of information and how to create ones that are just one-time use versus ones that are multiple use. But it kind of shows you how you can get creative with the with that layout builder. But everybody go ahead and start creating your basic page and give everybody about 10 minutes. All right, we're almost done here. If anyone has any questions, though, let me know. I am seeing some pages come in. All right, so I'm going to jump back over to the site here. If you guys are still working on it, continue to work on it. So going back to the site, here I am on the front page. If you guys can see here, the ones that have added it to under this particular page, my cool page, I'm going to go ahead and just select on one here as an example. So a few different things I want you guys to take note of. When those things happen, when you place them in the right place through the menu items, it will start automatically building out even some interior menus as well. If I were to move some stuff around, if I were to move this, how do you like me page over to under news, it would be under the news section, and then it will have everything that's part of the news, or the about page. It will have all of these ones here as well. So it looks like you guys kind of got that concept, but did anybody run into any issues as far as kind of adding in those a block of information? You guys might still be working on it, but again, when you're in those, when you created that page, don't forget to just click on layout. It pulls up the layout builder, and then in the layout builder, we want to select add blocks to add in those different blocks of information and create custom block here. Now, we are out of time, though I am here for any additional questions you guys may have. We will have another training here in a couple weeks. So we're going to pick up from this point and really just dive into what you can do with blocks, with layout builder, and how you can apply that to the Arizona at Work website. But I want to thank everybody for coming out today for this training, and I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Thank you, Vincent.
Thank you so much, Vincent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.